Hello and welcome to Stateside here on Politics Social. Mikey's not with us at the moment. I've got an empty chair. At the moment. There's the empty chair there where Mikey should be, but I think he's getting something. I don't know. Or maybe he is there and he's just invisible and I can't hear him. I don't know. But either way, welcome to the show. It is Stateside, me, Graham Hughes, and Mikey Famine when you get to it. And we've got loads of wonderful people in the chat. We've got Billy Kershaw there. We've got Sarah Davis. We've got One Angry Pagan. We've got Ghost Pouch. We've got Power to the People. SG, many others. You'll see there's a little Politics Social rose next to people's names now. It goes through the colours. It starts off pink, goes through the colours of the rainbow, and then it ends up purple, depending on how long you've been a member. If you would like to join these lovely people in the chat here, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to join them and properly join the channel, just hit the join button at the bottom and you'll get yourself a little rose at the end of your name, a different colour, depending on how long you've been a member. So Mikey's sitting down now. I can't hear him yet. Mikey, hello. Are you there? Are you receiving me?
Yes.
Yes, you're quite quiet. I'll just turn you up a little bit. That might be me more than you. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I've had about an hour and a half of sleep because my 2-year-old has in full sleep regression. She's like,
oh no.
Sleep? No, dude, I just napped for about an hour and a half and then I wake up ready to go for another 6 hours. I'm like, God, no.
Is that why you're always in the chat on the Sunday on the morning brew show? Because that always surprises me because it's like 3 a.m. where you are, isn't it?
Well, without tooting my own horn here, but my wife works really, really early.
Okay.
And because I'm typically a night owl anyway, I made it a thing to stay up until she goes to work so I can get her lunch together, and then we have a bowl of cereal in the morning. And then she goes off to work and then I'm still here. But then the freaking cats and the dog, they conspired together to wake up the baby. So I've slept for about an hour and a half since yesterday.
Right. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Cool.
Parenting.
Will you be able to catch up on your sleep at some point, or is
that was the weekend. I already got caught up. This is Monday morning. Let's start you off with only 1 hour sleep to begin the week.
Shit.
It's about normal.
Okay, right. Well, we're going to be talking tonight, I guess, for me, about the Democrats. And it might be a bit surprising, people watching and going, hang on, it's not the Democrats we should be talking about, it's what Trump's doing. But we know what Trump is doing. What Trump is doing is being reported, at least in our media over here. But what we're not hearing anything about, Mikey, is what the Democrats are saying about this. I've not seen anything. Where are they? Are they on holiday?
It's illegal.
What's illegal?
It's illegal. Everything that he's doing is illegal.
Yes, I know.
So the problem that comes up is the Republicans, who all have to, well, not all, I would say, but enough of them have to win the midterms coming up here in 18 months or whatever. It is their responsibility to seize the reins back from a dictator. Now they're like, oh, I like this dictator. Do you? Now that he let him and the teenagers go through all of everyone's records and copy and paste whatever they would like, even though he's a foreign national with no
elected office
and no security clearance. He can't pass a security clearance because he can't keep his fucking nose clean. He can't stop doing drugs. He's hooked on ketamine. That's why he's a security risk, is because he likes to do drugs all the time and then walk around stages, high off his ass, roaring like a hamster, throwing up the occasional Nazi salute. That's why you don't have a security clearance. That's why, dog. That's why we won't let you in there. But he got, they just bully people, make them quit.
Yeah.
And then they get their hands on everything. So Republicans, it's like the Democrats are in the minority here. So they can't impeach Trump. But you know who could? You know who could save democracy in the Western world? Who could do all that stuff? All the same people who are licking the bottom of his boot as if that's going to preserve them from the damage he's doing to the country.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. Even if you're a kiss ass, you're going to go hungry. We're all going to go hungry unless they stop him.
But
Like it's in the cards. We're all about to starve in
what?
about 6 months.
Okay, but why aren't the Democrats screaming for people to start turning against Trump? Why? What is this the whole thing of like giving him enough rope, or what's the thinking here? Hang on, just before we go into that, we got a super chat from Maggie Pie. Thank you very much, Maggie Pie. That's very kind of you. Visibility potion for Mikey, so we can see him now. So visibility potion. There you go. Because it was just a chair for a little bit. We were all a bit confused. But yeah, so go on. Where are they? What are they doing? What's the plan? What is there a plan? What?
But this is why I get so pissy when you're like, oh, well, you're a Democrat. And I was like,
I
no,
didn't
because
call
if
you
I
a
was,
Democrat.
you have in the past.
Yes, because
but the okay,
you did
let me
support
finish.
Kamala in the last election because you had to, not because you wanted to, but because you had to.
That doesn't make me a Democrat
I
because I
know.
vote for
I
her.
appreciate that. Honestly, I completely appreciate that, and I don't blame
It was
you
a strategic. It
for
was a
Democrat being
strategic
shit.
thing.
Yes,
But
yes.
either way, but either way you slice it, the things that the Republicans are up, well, Trump is up to, the Republicans are not immune against just because they're a red state. I mean, the the pissing contest with Canada has begun. Good luck with that
Mm.
one, red states. You might be, part of America, but Tennessee whiskey has nothing to do with Illinois. We're not going to get punished by it. We could probably still put out Malort or something like that. And but they're boycotting your ass because of you not taking
So
your responsibility seriously and safeguarding the Western world from a dictator. And if they're,
is the Super Bowl next week? Is it next weekend? The Super Bowl?
I don't watch football anymore. Sorry,
But is it? Do you know if it is or not? Because
I
someone
don't know.
suggested that like when it's Super Bowl, like the middle of the Super Bowl, that Canada's just shut down the power to like the northern states.
That's not exactly how it works, but I mean,
Could you
like I get
imagine?
you. Oh, dude, if I was them, I would wait until halftime and then I would just take the big extension cord, like boom,
Boom.
just. Oh, I'm gonna need my cord back. I know I let y'all borrow my cord for a while, but I'm gonna need my cord back. I just had to get it right now.
Yeah.
That's my cord.
Yeah.
I'm just getting my stuff. I need my cord back.
So, Dave W in the chat saying no office, no security, no scruples. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, the fact that he's an immigrant as well, like this whole thing has been anti-immigrant, hasn't it? And that I mean, come on.
And DEI is bad, but first let's get Dr. Oz, fucking fucking Pete Hegseth and RFK Jr. Let's get them confirmed as, cabinet members before we start the rage about DEI.
Okay.
Three of the most unuseful humans I've ever seen.
Okay. I have a question. Marco Rubio, right?
Yeah.
Little Marco. He was confirmed by the Senate by 99 senators. Why are the Democrats voting for the Trump picks?
Not all of them are crazy. Mark Rubio isn't a fucking crazy nutbag. He actually,
But why
you know
are
what
they
I mean?
voting for him? If it was the other way around, the Democrats, the Republicans would just be blocking everything all the time. That's what they did when they had the opportunity to put in a Supreme Court judge. They just blocked it. Said, I'm not going to vote for this.
Because the country needs that position filled. Like, just like Trump firing him and Musk firing the FAA guy or bullying him so that he left, that has consequences. The job must be filled. And and I was thinking about this, trying to make coffee in the middle of the night yesterday. It has taken probably at least 150 years for us to position our civics in the way that they're currently stationed. Like, it took us a long time to set all of this up in a way that it can run no matter if you're left, right, Marianne Williamson, Moon Crystal Lake. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at. Like, the structure of it runs, and then like the like at 3 to 4% on the fringes, that's what your election decides, right? That's kind of like how much is normally adjusted to the original recipe each time.
Yeah.
These dudes have just smash the bottom of the beaker out, and the experiment is all over the floor. No one is allowed to go into the rooms that Elon is allowing himself to go into. He has a gang of Peter Thiel's men with him going through
Another immigrant.
every single federal worker's personal file, all their everything, and they're just saving all of this stuff. So that's the problem. And if the Republicans think, well, that'll teach the woke DEI lesbians, brother, if you're not saving your canned food right now, you're a fool. If you're not buying canned food right now, you're a fool.
Are you buying canned food?
Yeah, I've been doing that. Again,
Wow.
I don't tell you guys on stream what I'm up to because I don't know who's a government agent or not,
Yeah,
and I don't
true.
work for the government.
But so they've not had a look at your private finances, but over nearly $7 trillion worth of federal spending, which is only supposed to that sort of thing, the clearance that you need for that, only 2 or 3 people in the entire United States of America have that clearance, and
Right.
Dickhead Elon Musk has turned up over the weekend with a USB pen and downloaded it all.
And the thing is, he's saying he's trying to use the guys like, well, we keep finding, and this is the other bad part, like the Trump voters who all live in swamps, according to your racist ass. You don't hear the Ben podcast talking about all British.
90,
Racist,
93% of black
racist.
women voted Democrat, didn't they?
Racist. You
Oh,
can't call Americans all swamp people, okay?
I didn't call
did
everybody
go back
swamp
and
people.
go back and
I said-
rewatch your own
I said
goddamn stream.
redneck Republican, Trump voting dickheads with no teeth and a banjo who live in a swamp in Alabama. That's what I was talking about. I was being
Yeah, but you
racist,
don't-
yes, but against white people, particularly rednecks who are inbred and vote for Trump.
My wife is white, you racist shit. Stop fucking being a racist to Americans. Piece of garbage. You don't hear me talking about some, the queen
Can we
can
agree
suck
that
my
there's at
The
least
queen
3
can suck my
people
dick
in the...
with a skeleton mouth. Her skeleton mouth can suck. I don't say things like that because it's mean. So stop being mean to people when they're literally going through a coup.
You are.
Maybe
yes.
save the jokes. Maybe save the jokes for next time. It's a little raw and sensitive over here.
I didn't mention it since the coup started. I don't think. I think I said it
like
before the coup started, but
Not like I was watching this morning. Not like I was watching this morning.
Did I say swamp dwelling
Yes.
Alabamans? I've got to pick somewhere else other than Alabama.
And then you act like everybody in America just wakes up every morning, kisses the American flag, and then goes to work in the gun mines. Like, you don't just go like
You heard it. You heard it. From the mouths of babes, you heard that. They wake up, kiss the American flag, and go and work in the gun mines.
Dude, you do realize that it's like 4 companies in the U.S. that is supplying the world with all these guns. They're very efficient.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be all Americans. We don't just all make guns. You know what I mean? It's just so crazy. There's probably a bunch of British people in that park over there sewing a bunch of Union Jacks together. Like, that's not how you guys are, I assume.
Maggie Pie, thank you very much for the super chat. 50 Swedish kroner. Thank you. The Trump cabinet is the very opposite of DEI. It's about recruiting the least competent white men you could possibly find for every position. Like,
Hey,
who's your
Tulsi Gabbard's not a white man. How dare you?
who's your pick for like the least competent person that Trump has picked for his cabinet? Like,
Cash Patel's up there, or RFK. RFK has got to be the GOAT, right? He's the GOAT idiot. He's such a GOAT. He sounds like a GOAT 24/7. Coincidence? I think not. Like, I don't. It's hard to pick who's the worst. RFK is probably the worst.
The guy in charge of defense, he's a Fox News host. Is that right?
Yeah.
Fox News.
Fox and Friends.
Fox
like
and Friends.
the panel one where, like, each individual is stupid, but then collectively they make like almost an 8th grader as far as their knowledge on civics and how the government works. But look at JD Vance, another Peter Thiel invention that's just, born out of the genocide in Gaza to finance, right-wing idiots that'll just do what they tell them to do, i.e. JD Vance. That's what all this is for.
Jesus. So,
Oh, and it wouldn't it be something if, some South African gave another South African everybody's data so he could feed it into Palantir, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is Peter Thiel, who's a German guy who lives in America for some reason and decides just to mess everything up for the people who were born in America, unlike him. And then he pisses off to Dubai and says, "Ha ha ha ha! Have a nice time in the country that I've just destroyed." In the same way that Murdoch, who's another immigrant, he's from Australia originally, and
Oh,
Elon
is he?
Musk, obviously, who's from South Africa. They'll just come to America to fuck shit up for you guys.
It's
Sorry.
where the money is.
They come along
All
and
the
they
money's
break
here.
things because it can take, like you said, take years and years, 150 years to build up something, and then they can destroy it in an afternoon. And so U.S. aid looks like it's going out the window. So no, this is the richest man. You have to understand this, right? It is the richest man in the world slapping food out of the starving mouths of children in developing nations. That's what the richest man in the world, Elon Fuck, did this weekend.
He took food. He's taking food out of the mouth of veterans.
Yes.
So, what's that? You got both legs blown up from Iraq and Afghanistan? No worries, mate. Just let the VA take care of you. Hope nobody comes along after the fact and just and then like the other part that people forget about is that like the wife or spouse of someone who is enlisted.
Yeah.
That's DEI.
Yeah.
That's not, you're not entitled to that because that's just a nice thing to do. It's because it's an active governmental program to support the spouses of it. So the socialism that they hate so much, they love so much.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, he is tearing it up. There are protests that are scheduled for the 5th and the 6th. But I think tomorrow there's a big one in DC.
Okay.
But
If I was in DC, I wouldn't go to that.
I'm not going because I have a kid and I can't afford to get arrested or whatever else happens.
Well, that's what I'm worried about, because what's going to stop him now? He feels so empowered. Just before we go on, hold that thought, because we got $5 from Greg in the United States, I assume. Thanks for streaming today and making me laugh while I toil in the gun mines. You see? They are real. Anyway, go on. Sorry, what are you saying? You wouldn't be going to this this protest anyway.
I don't like to go where the government thinks I'm going to be. I like to go other places. I don't want to go to the obvious spot. If people want to go to stuff like that, I 100% support it, and I totally support people not going too.
Yeah, same here.
I'm pretty sure the switchboard for DC has been blowing up for weeks now. And it's probably the same on like the local level for some of this stuff, because it's like let's say you own your own business and your wife is a nurse, and then you go to drop the kid off at the babysitter so you both can go to work, but the babysitter's closed because a lot of the way that they pay the workers is through like federal grants, because it is a good thing in this country for there to be childcare for productive people of society. They need someone to watch the kid for them for a little bit so they can both earn money that produces taxes and income and all, and the circle of life is completed. But when you start fucking with that, when you start going after food, when you start going after people's medicine, like when before the ACA, before Obamacare, it was women, pregnant women especially, cancer patients, people with diabetes or any kind of like chronic pain. United Health and all of them, they were just dropping people.
Yeah.
I said, nope, no thanks. You're going to be really expensive. Bye-bye. And there was nothing in the law that said it was bullshit to just wait until a customer got expensive and then you're allowed to drop them.
Yeah. And keep all that money. You don't get your money back that you've been contributing all those years, do you?
Because you had insurance during that time before you got sick.
Yeah.
And then once you get sick and you want to use that insurance, man, that's going to be really expensive for me.
That's been the case. That's been the case for a very, very long time. I remember my history and politics teacher in the 1990s talking about someone they knew in America who'd had a heart attack and that was all covered by their work insurance that they
Yeah.
had. But then, they had another heart attack and they lost the house.
Easy. Because it's 50 grand, 60 grand,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
$100,000.
That's what he
Like,
said.
what are you who has that?
No one. Well,
Who
Musk.
who just has that?
Musk, because he's stolen it all off you guys. But look,
Well, he had it, but that's the thing. Dude, you already have all the fucking money, bro.
yeah, he needs more. Do you
For
know how
what? Where are you gonna
expensive a ketamine
where are you
habit
gonna
is? Do you know
where
how
are you gonna
expensive it
spend
is to
it?
pay someone to play a game for 23 hours a day?
He could have bought the game and the patent to ketamine. He has $400 billion. I don't think both of those cost that much.
No, no.
He'd
But,
still have all that. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
it
he's
doesn't even
fucking
make
deranged,
sense.
isn't he? He is actually fucking deranged. Like, the guy's not,
See,
he's not a well man, is he?
he is uh like I don't know exactly, and it's weird because you kind of like how they discovered Neptune or whatever, how you have to watch the perturbations of other celestial bodies orbits to kind of determine what's there. There's a direct reason for why he wanted to be in there, other than what we obviously think of, like the data breach and just like copying all the information. What the fuck is he looking for?
Well, yeah.
What the fuck does he need in there? You know what I mean? Like, what was it
Money.
in there that you were? He doesn't need money though, so that I
But
think
it's,
that's a weak kind of motivation for him, because cash is not the problem. He's already got like $100 billion worth of government contracts already on the books. That's due to come in by the, you know what I mean? So it's like, what are you looking for in there? And I know it's not just to see who isn't coming to work and who's working remotely, like
no,
who's not
but
coming in the office and who's coming
isn't
remotely.
it also like federal funding for, like, where we get subsidies and stuff like that? So he'll be looking at what his competitors' subsidies are getting off the government. He'd also be looking
Hmm.
at, what companies the subsidies are being stopped on, and that would allow him to inform hedge funds to say this company is going to go down the toilet next year because we're going to stop funding it, basically, and get rid of all the competition, all the car builders, all the other people making satellites, all the other people making
See,
whatever
that's the
other
problem.
shit that he makes.
That that's the problem when you have a mutual destruction kind of mindset. Who hedge funds for what, idiot? You're going to collapse the economy.
Yeah, yeah,
Ford's not going to be. Who cares if Ford is making cars or not?
yeah,
No one can afford them.
yeah,
No one
yeah,
can eat. No one has medicine. The
yeah.
bird flu is going around.
Mm.
Hopefully, there isn't a new strain of COVID. Like, they don't think because they're stupid. He's just a big, stupid, drug-addled child. And
Yeah,
he thinks that if I steal all the money out of the bank in Monopoly, I'll be the richest. And then no one will know because I am so clever. Okay, asshole, I just passed go. Can I have $200 out of the bank, please? And you're busted. So it's like, what are you planning to do with your theft? What, take
yeah,
more money from us? That was our money, dumbass.
mm,
That's the life savings of hundreds of millions of people who will depend on that when they turn 65.
yeah.
So if you think that people are just like, oh well, he got us, guess we better go back to McDonald's and start this process
Well,
all over again so we can put the money back.
yeah. This is what I thought about him and Trump. What they're doing is they're creating a country in which there aren't just a few people with nothing to lose. There'll be millions of people with nothing to lose because they've already lost everything, Mikey. And if you have a million people gunning for you, all of whom have nothing to lose, you have painted a target on your back the size of Nebraska. Like that. This is why, I keep saying Trump. I don't think he's going to get kicked out of office through an election. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to leave office in a box.
Well, I mean, again, after these Republicans get out of their fucking swamp in Alabama, um, he has what did you say, 77 million? So there would be 77 million of them who
Yes.
will miss a meal in the next month.
Yeah, probably.
who will go to the gas pump like what the actual
I
fuck?
have seen
Like
interviews though with people who were like supportive of these tariffs and like, you do know it's going to make you poorer, and they're like, yeah, yeah, I know, and it's a minority. It's only about 1 in 3 people, but still, it's
it's a
1 in 3 people going.
but they
No,
but
I don't mind going without if it means that Donald gets to do what he wants. Just
like I hear that, but the problem is there's a big freaking, shoulder camera there, or there's a guy with the gimbal,
yeah,
and they play it up, because they're Trumpers, they're MAGA, they like to be audacious and bombastic and all this stuff. So they like to say it in front of the cameras. They are freaking the fuck out.
yeah,
For real, for real. They are freaking the fuck out because when it comes to these veterans groups, when it comes to childcare, when it comes to, oh, I have an autistic kid and there's a program at the school to help them out, and then they get the fucking email saying, hey, by the way, next year you need to find something to do.
yeah,
He's like, well, what do you mean? I can't just watch the kid. I have to go to work. And they're like, look, we didn't get the money.
yeah,
I can't have the 16 the 16 people on staff to work with special needs kids because the 16 people's worth of salary that was supposed to come in from the government never showed up.
yeah,
We can't, and this is a school. We can't run at a deficit like that. We depend on state funding to keep everything going, and grants and stuff like that to keep everything going and to have these special programs. According to Donald Trump, if you have a special needs kid, just let him die.
yeah,
Right? Just let him die so you can move down to Florida. That's what he told his nephew.
yeah,
That's what he told his like 50 something year old nephew, who during the last campaign or whatever, his last term in office, has a special needs kid. And he's like, dude, just let the kid die. Just let the kid die in a home and then just move to Florida with me.
yeah.
This is his thoughts on these people. So they're thinking that this guy is going to save them. The I told you so's don't matter. Like I stopped with the I told you so's
Yeah.
about a month ago, because it doesn't matter at this point, because they're fucked whether they know they're fucked or not.
Yeah.
Well, so they can keep DEI in their way, but you're not going to DEI them crops out of that field and into a container so people can eat them. It doesn't work.
Well, according to Alex in the chat, that because Alex is gay, obviously if he was to fly a helicopter, then he would crash it. Obviously. I'm so gay I can't even fly straight. Hey, but
Nice.
yeah, it's a bit of a weird take, isn't it? Of like, oh, I just took all this funding away from the FAA and sacked a load of people and had one person doing 2 jobs at once, and oh fuck, a helicopter's just crashed into a plane. A military helicopter has just flown into a passenger jet and killed 67 people.
And then after the fact, so it's just like the TikTok thing. He does this thing where he lights a fire and then he runs away like a petulant child, and then after half the houses in the neighborhood are burned down, here he comes with a fire extinguisher. Like, I tried to help, but everybody was so woke that I only got one fire extinguisher. It's like, dude, you did this.
Yeah.
You have gasoline. Your whole fit smells like gasoline, and you got matches falling out of your pocket. You did this. And so back to the normal American person here. When tragedy happens in this country, the other job of the president is the consoler in chief.
Yeah.
It is your job to make everybody feel okay.
Yeah.
To let them know that tomorrow is going to be a brighter day. We will mourn the ones that we've lost, and we will do the best that we can to make sure that this never happens again. Yeah. I'm not taking any questions because I'm just going to go and spend some time with the family. Thank you so much. God bless America, or God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. And then you walk away from the camera and you go give those people a hug, and you go tell them that you're with them and you feel so sorry for their loss. Yeah. He is incapable of doing that because he doesn't fucking care.
No,
he has never cared about another person ever.
No.
And if this is what the Republicans needed to see, because a lot of them are not. He immediately went to, this is Biden's fault, and the black one-armed lesbians, and they went through that whole list of all the things.
What you're talking about Trump there, I feel the same way about all of the Republicans, though, they don't seem to give a fuck about anything but themselves and their own power and keeping power and keeping them and their mates,
Well, they're
in the
scared
life on the gravy train, in the life to which they've become accustomed.
because they're more afraid of not being elected again more
Yeah,
than they're afraid of there not being a country to be elected in.
yeah, exactly. You're right, but that's the situation, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, if they don't want to pull up the 25th Amendment and say that his brain is broken and make him pass a cognitive test, or if they want to just full out impeach him for letting Elon, like, I think it's an impeachable offense to let Elon Musk in that building. To let him in that building and you
Yeah,
knew he was in that building and you didn't say anything, that's impeachable as far as
yeah,
I'm concerned.
yeah.
And if JD Vance knew about it, he's impeached too.
But why?
Anybody who knew that Elon was going to walk into that room should be gone.
Yeah.
All of them.
But
All of them.
let's talk about the Democrats for a moment, because there was an article in the Guardian today by a journalist called Moira Donegan, and she was talking about the Democrats' struggle to present a compelling vision of America, and the lack of opposition to Trump's actions, and their mixed responses to Trump and Musk's actions. You've got people like AOC who are making videos going, "This is completely wrong, this is completely out of order," and you've got other higher up Democrats who are just not saying anything. The reliance on historic media, they're not getting involved in in new media, in social media. Their positions are ineffective, and they're just there seems to be a failure across the board to prioritize core issues and prioritize fighting Trump tooth and nail for everything he wants to do. They seem to either be in hiding or just kind of like acquiescing to anything that Trump wants to do. What's the thinking? Like what's behind this? It's incredibly frustrating. I mean, it must be frustrating for you, but I mean,
But you got to understand, what exactly are you asking them to do?
Step up, start screaming
To
about
do what?
Trump, about what he's doing, pointing it out to people at every opportunity, being online, being on the TV, being on news, being everywhere they can. Just pop up everywhere and go, fuck me, look what this dickhead's done. And this is what it's going to do to the people here. So, if I was a Democrat, I'd be going down to some state that's a swing state. I'll be talking to people there going, are you happy that the price of eggs has actually gone up since Trump got into power? Are you happy that the price of gas has gone up for your car by
Well,
80 cents, was it?
I mean, it was the Democrats who mobilized to freeze him going after all of that funding. Like, it wasn't the Republicans that did that. That was the Democrats in the
Yeah.
House that pulled it up for a vote and made them take it back and made them rescind that order. Like, that was the Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird question to answer because we don't know what he's up to. We don't know what they're planning to do next. What did come up, they have popped up and tried to throw it down, but you have to remember, they don't have the majority in anything. Like that is the risk of running shitty campaigns during crisis moments, right? Like, of all the times for a mutiny, when the iceberg is right in front of us, this was a bad time. So we are like, Democrats are very, very I mean, I forget what our let me see. I forget what our margin is in the Senate, but like with a 3 vote margin, because somebody's out, I think, right now on the Republican side, so they only have 3 votes. That is the lever of power to swing the wrecking ball in the other direction. They're pulling it, they're yanking on it, but it's not big enough. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. Like, the Republicans are going to have to unfuck this. You know what I mean? The old guard of the Republicans, who are mostly gone at this point.
Yeah.
But
It's
if you
mostly
do live
MAGA,
in a
isn't it?
but if you live in a red state and your shit is getting fucked with, then you need to make sure that your red representative knows that, TikTok, motherfucker, if you don't fix this shit by the end of the week, and if you don't get his ass by the end of the week, consider your ass gone. And it doesn't matter how much money you put in there. As a voting block, your ass is out of here. That's the message that needs to be received in DC. That if you do not have the fight and the fire within you to undo this shit, then feel free to be removed.
For
that's what I would.
For a Democrat who hasn't got the fight or fire inside them to oppose this in a
Well, I
In a,
told you
in a,
I because I feel like the people who are trying, the people who are actually putting effort on the left and the left and like the center right are mostly the same people who just want things to function. They enjoy stability like everybody else enjoys stability. This is chaotic. This
yes.
is a nightmare.
But this is what
So
the people voted for. This is what
they
77
didn't
million
know
people voted for.
you keep saying that, but they're not intentionally voting for this. There is no way they wanted this to go this way because they're not informed enough. They don't know enough about politics to give you like if you ask them that question, they don't even know how to answer you correctly. They have no idea how any of this works. I still bet that 90% of them think that throwing tariffs on China hurts China. You know what I mean? I'm sure that they still think that somewhere in their little
I,
pea
I,
brains.
I
It's
actually
there.
don't. I honestly believe that they love it. I think they love the chaos. They love the
They
excitement
don't
of
know what it
waking up
means.
and finding out that Trump has done something horrible to some other people, some disabled people, or some veterans, or some foreigners, some immigrants. That's their Viagra. They get off on it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't get off on it if they knew it hurt them. But they think it doesn't hurt them. They think it just hurts the other person and doesn't hurt them.
If that was
Well,
the case, wouldn't red states have gone blue a long time ago? Because they're the ones who always suffer from this shit when the Republicans take over and freeze all Medicare and pull up the
oh,
education and everything else.
oh, it's Tim. I was like, who the hell is texting me? Tim's like, give me the link. I think it's too late, Tim.
Oh, sorry, Tim.
Sorry. Sorry, Tim.
Next time, Tim.
Yeah. Well,
Go
we got
on.
a show tomorrow. Oh, speaking of the Ben Podcast Network,
In
you can catch
podcast.
me and Tim. You can catch me and Tim tomorrow. The one American business you should still support.
Yes.
And you can support us in our little blowtorch that could just click that little blue at the Ben Podcast Network, sub to the Ben Podcast Network, and then just come on back. Just come right back.
If you go on the title of this video, the BIM Podcast Network is linked there, so you'll be able to get it from the title. W. James says, bullies love bullying. Owen Jones seems fine to me on the whole, says number 3. I'm talking about the film and not the Doctor Who story, says Yvonne. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat here. This is a clown show, says Charles. I don't know if Charles is talking about me and you or talking about what's happening in America. But yeah, I mean...
Here's a good one right here, real quick. David says, I mean, people tried that with Brexit. It doesn't work. Ignorance is the most powerful superpower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they can just if they can la 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 la, that's only going to hurt the Mexicans.
Yeah. But
you're in a dangerous spot because you don't know when the fucking predator is coming. You don't know when you're getting robbed. Is because you've been told that all robbers look a certain way.
Yes.
So now that Elon Musk is walking into your bank vault with a big bag with a dollar sign on it, you know what I mean? Like he is robbing you. Trump is pimping you. You are his hose. You go out to the corner and you dance around, you do what you got to do, and then you go and you give your money to daddy. That's what he's doing to you.
Yes.
He is pimping you.
Yes.
He's using your rage and your racism to pimp you.
But don't
He's
you think that
shit.
there's a good number of them who want to be pimped? They want Donald Trump to be their daddy. They want Donald Trump to tell them what to do because life is messy and confusing and they just want a grown-up, they perceive him as a grown-up, to tell them, you do this and I'll take care of you. Even though he won't, even though he's a deadbeat dad, he's a deadbeat daddy. He is, the worst. He'll gamble away all the family savings on a whim because he's the kind of idiot who can bankrupt a casino. He's about to bankrupt the United States of America.
Multiple times he does it too.
Focus.
Find me, camera. Find me. Let me just turn it off. But when people look at, and this is what I was saying during the campaign, is that they kept bragging about how great the stock market was doing and how the jobs numbers are up and wages are up 0.3% and da 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 and inflation's down. So this means that you guys are making. It was bullshit. It was a bunch of left, like Democrat corporate Democrat lying suck ass bullshit. It was not true. It didn't mean anything. All of those numbers might be great, but they don't mean shit when it comes to groceries. It doesn't mean shit when it comes to rent. And it doesn't make sense for there to be this, I'm going to come and save you from, my wife's calling me, come save you from everything when you were literally in office for 4 fucking years. Why are we waiting for now for you to go after the people who have been grifting in the housing market?
Well, exactly. Do you need to take that call? Do you want me to? Do you want me to take over for a moment? Okay, I'm just gonna. Hello. I'm still here. I'll just turn off Mikey's mic for a moment. Mikey's mic. See what I did there? No, but I genuinely feel like the Democrats are letting us down. And the way that. Oh, okay. You're back. Mikey's back.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely feel like the Democrat. I'm quite shocked actually at not seeing many videos of Democrats, fighting with what I would see as conviction against what this madness that Trump is doing. And Trump seems to be getting away with a lot. Obviously, he's doing this thing where he's flinging as many things on the wall to see what will stick. Some of it will. Some of it won't. One of the things that didn't stick was the funding that he tried to cut. He tried to cut all federal funding. But this thing with Musk this weekend, if that had been the Democrats who'd done that, the Republicans would be on every single news station for the next 24 years screaming about how the Dems let one of their mates, who's a billionaire Nepo baby, an immigrant of all people, come over and steal the data of millions of Americans for his own.
If we completely ignore the 2024 campaign, right? Like Elon hasn't turned complete Nazi yet. Let's say it's 2016 and Hillary wins, and first thing she does is she lets Elon Musk walk around the fuck. They would go in ballistic.
Yes.
They would go ballistic.
But why aren't the Democrats going ballistic? Why are we not?
There's nothing for them to do. There's nothing for them.
Ballistic.
To who?
To us, to the people who are watching. Okay, the people who take an interest in politics, who are like freaking out right now. It would be nice to know we're not going mad. And it does feel like, is he really doing all this shit? Because I feel like if he was really doing all this shit, surely the Democrats would say something. And it's not even like, well, they're not allowed on traditional media. Okay, fair enough. Fucking put a video on YouTube then, or fucking TikTok or Instagram. I don't give a fuck.
Now, remember when I told you, and everybody on the Social Friday, everybody shouted me down and da-da-da-da-da when I said that there needs to be a progressive wing of this government. Because the progressives, the AOCs, the Jasmine Crockett's, the Bernie Sanders, the Jamie Raskins, they're all saying shit. Where is everyone else? Yep. And this is what I meant. They're corporate Democrats, and they don't give a fuck about what happens to us. Yep. It doesn't matter to them because they feel like they're insulated from it. And as long as they're a rich old white person, they figure that they're going to be okay. And that's the fucking problem. And that's why I refuse to support them. I voted for them with my nose firmly clamped. Yeah. But now that that's over, they don't have a base to talk to. They got rid of all the young people out of the base by lying about the student loan debt. They purged every single Muslim out of there because they said, hey, it's either this or it's either what I give you in the Middle East or nothing. Like, this is not a way to build a coalition to change the world into a better place. This is rich, old corporate Democrats who have done nothing but protect their own fucking insider trading passageways. And now that the jig is up, where's Nancy Pelosi?
I don't know. I've not seen it.
Anybody heard from her?
Is she still an elected representative?
Where's Kamala Harris? Anybody
did
heard
Nancy
from her?
Pelosi step down, or is she still an elected representative?
I know she wasn't running again. Let's see if she's still up.
Probably not. She's probably retired. If she's still a member,
it doesn't matter if she's retired, right? And that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's a point as
well.
You
take millions and millions and millions of dollars in campaign money, and then you take all this salary money. So once your term is done, you get to just fuck off to a rocking chair.
Well, actually,
over in Scranton, and then no one
actually,
has to fucking hear from you anymore?
considering that Elon Musk has now got control on the pensions that all those people who served in your Congress have, it's probably a good move of hers actually to save up loads of money while she was actually an elected representative. Because if she has retired now, that money's going to be turned off. As is, I think that they're
That's
going
like
to stop
saying
paying.
that's like saying it's a good thing she's a fucking thief because who knows, another thief might have come by and taken
Yeah,
some of her
exactly.
money.
Well,
Fuck that.
it
She's
all
a
worked out
thief.
in the end for Nancy Pelosi. But what I'm saying is that, like,
Not so
one
much
of the
for Paul.
reasons why they've hacked into the system of federal payments. I mean, this is everything from like NASA scientists, the army. So you've got they could stop the pay. They could stop money going into the bank accounts of any Democrats. So that's it. The Democrats can continue being elected representatives. They're just not going to get any money off the government for doing so. And they can also stop the pay of anyone in the military who refuses their orders. So if someone in the military says, I'm not doing that, they say, okay, well, we're going to cut your pay. We've got the power to do that. Elon Musk has now got the power to do that, presumably.
And then the other part is like all this shit is extra legal or infra legal. Like it's none of this is legal. Like controlling the money is literally written out in the Constitution. The Congress holds the purse strings. It is the Congress who decides what happens with the money because when it comes to the massive amounts in the pools for our tax reserve, it needs to be debated by 500 people of what happens, not just, Trump, Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, and Elon on a ketamine kick. They get to decide what the spending is. There is a reason why none of that stuff is in the Constitution already, where the executive branch decides what is spent. The executive branch decides what is legal. The executive branch, there is a reason why we have separation of powers.
Well, it's because we had the cycle of, going around from an autocracy to a democracy to an oligarchy back to a aristocracy, monarchy, and that what broke that cycle was having a democracy and having separation of powers. And that was so important for the running of any country. And if it falls apart in pretty much any country, you know that the civil unrest is on its way. I mean, and autocracy is on its way.
So unfortunately for the Republicans, they're going to have to deal with Trump. The Democrats last time have so thoroughly fucked themselves and everyone at this point. The only people that can stop Trump is if they impeach him. They have to impeach him.
Okay.
They have to.
I get that.
That's the only way to get rid of him.
You've got AOC, you've got Bernie. Who else in the Democrats or independents who are on the left who are actually, kicking ass about this? Who is there?
Crockett said some stuff. I think Katie Porter said some stuff.
I like Katie Porter.
Lou, Padilla. I mean, the normal cast of people, but the people who are not on TV all the time need to be just as loud. Like I don't understand why they all don't have YouTube channels, why they're not all talking to their constituents.
Yes.
And the reason why stuff like that happens is because the people don't demand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's got the same problem in this country, but we haven't got Trump in charge. So,
Well, Trump wasn't as bad until Elon got involved. So, cautionary tale, you better do whatever you need to do to put on the books in your country, advocate in your country right now to block outside influence and all this, like, what do you say, $100 million you want to give to Nigel Farage or whoever you want. Whoever in reform he wants to push forward or whatever, you need to block that money. You need to block all of this influence because once he gets in, you see what he does.
Yeah.
Because it was all like, oh, that's illegal that he's, giving out $1 million for people to register to vote every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where was the prosecution of this asshole? Like, what's the fucking point of having laws if you're not going to enforce them? What's the point?
Exactly.
What is the point? Because if you're just going to let him walk into the most sensitive data that we have
Jesus Christ.
And not arrest him on the site, you know what I mean? The fact that he's not hogtied somewhere in a black site with people putting, waterboarding him 24/7, asking him who his contact is on the inside. Like that's what would happen.
Yeah.
If I just started wandering around a government building, that not only would I be arrested, but I would be advanced interrogated until I told them exactly what I was looking for.
What can be done then? I mean, you're saying that they've got rid of a lot of people, younger people from the party. Are you talking about like elected representatives or this like activists and people like that?
You're talking about the Democrats?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. They've made it very clear with the selection of the 74-year-old with throat cancer that he is the vision of the future of the Democrat and the left. He's the future, not AOC.
Who's that? Isn't that Robert Kennedy? No.
No, it's the guy with because AOC was trying to get on the oversight committee, but she didn't get the appointment because the Democrats decided to give it to somebody who's a million years old.
Oh, right.
Because this is their plan. They think they are very big on, decorum, and this person has seniority, so they will be the next person. They have the most seniority, and then this person will be after them because they have the second most. Yeah, they're gonna fucking polite us into the fucking grave. As if that's what the American people wanted more than anything. But what their party represents is a lazy, lecherous piglet that refuses to get off the teat. And the piglet will do whatever you ask them to do as long as they can just lay in the mud and sip at the teat as much as they want. They don't care about doing hard work. They don't care about saving anything. They just want to eat. And that's what the corporate Democrats are. They will let any kind of misfortune happen to the American people as long as their stocks stay up, as long as they can keep fundraising, and as long as they can stay in power long enough to ride out the storm, and then maybe we'll fix some things. But I mean, Nancy Pelosi was out there on Juneteenth on a knee, taking a knee like Colin Kaepernick with kente cloth on. Wow, what a fighter! Wow, she really cares about the American people. Gone in the wind. Hillary Clinton, gone. Bill Clinton, gone.
Well, you don't really want Bill Clinton, to be honest with you. He's a bit of a toxic asset.
No, he can take his ass to the front line and go swing his political weight around before he croaks it. Go up there and make some stink. But let's think back. Oh wait, the Biden Clinton crime bill. Oh, he likes this shit because they're not who you guys think they are. They're not like me. You know what I mean? Like who loves gay, trans, Black, Mexican, all the like. I love everybody. I don't see everybody's differences as a problem. I think it's one of our greatest strengths is to be
God,
like instead of having like a purebred, instead of having like a purebred puppy, I would much rather have like a little street puppy that's got like 17 different breeds in him. That dog's gonna probably live
5 times as long.
That dog's going to live forever. He's not going to have as many health issues. He's going to be inoculated from a lot of these genetic things that you get from being so pure about everything. Yeah. They are purely about capital. They've only cared about capital. And the party that actually took care of people, that was the left, and it was hijacked by corporate Democrats. So if the corporate Democrats want the Democratic Party, I say let them have it because they're not going to get any more money. As we can honestly see. So we need a party full of we need a party full of people with fucking brass knuckles who are ready to fight, not a party full of people who are just keeping things as steady as they can so they can make more on their investments.
Well, yeah, we talked about this on Friday, didn't we? About the the dilemma. What do you do? Do you change the system? Do you change the party from within by entryists coming in and making sure that they, the party pulls itself to the left, or do you start a new party and try and influence it that way? And obviously we had a difference of opinion on which one would have the best chance of actually having some effective change. But at the end of the day, it might be moot, mate. It might be moot. Like we're talking about the Democrats, like they're still a political force. Trump could sweep them away. He really could. It wouldn't take that much for him at a federal level. I know obviously
he doesn't have to.
Different, but like
he doesn't have to. They won't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
they're scared.
I'm not going to put up.
And if you're fucking scared, then don't fucking run. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like they felt completely fucking justified running for a seat and then hiding underneath the seat. Yeah. Get the fuck out of the fucking chair if you're not going to do anything. Get up.
Shit or get off the pot.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of the way. And that's the most frustrating thing for young people is that they are continually beleaguered by these fucking obstacles that are completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not ready to fight, then don't go. Don't go.
Yeah.
Just stay home and root, raise money, help organize things if you have all this experience. But instead, they want to just sit up there and be old. And this is the problem. No one gives a shit about your... Yes, no one cares about your experience if you're not willing to weaponize it and turn it into a shiv to save kids eating breakfast.
Yeah.
Like without...
and save as kids much on the other side of the world, just eating food, just eating, full stop.
As much as they like tried to clown Tim Walz is well loved in Minnesota because he made sure that all of the kids ate breakfast in his state. Yeah. Because childhood poverty and childhood hunger hits like 48% of America. Most of that is in red states. So instead of feeding the kids and getting their schools better, the Republicans have been actively trying to lower the age in which you can work. Yeah. He doesn't need no fancy book learning. We'll just get him down there in the pig chunker. with it'll be like the jungle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like that. That's what their idea is. And because the Democrats have been stopping them at every point, because big states like Illinois and California and New York have been funding to keep those children fed despite what their elected officials want to happen to them. I mean, and so now that the Democrats need to help everyone again, they are counting their millions of dollars in the Caymans somewhere, and they are nowhere to be seen. So no, I will never support the Democratic Party unless I have no other alternative. I am 100% invested on getting something else going. It is for everyone's benefit on this planet, I would suggest, because no one gives a shit about the environment, left or right. It is incumbent on Earth that we dismantle this two-party system in the United States. It has to be different.
Do you see this Trump presidency? Sorry, before we go on, I've had a super chat from Maggie Pie ages ago, which I didn't address. Thank you very much, Maggie Pie, for the 20 Swedish krona. Maggie Pie has been very generous this evening. Will Republicans eventually get fed up with Trump, is the question. I say no. What do you say, Mikey?
It's going to be hard to sell no government programs. Like, it's huge, dude. Like, and for all the MAGA racists who act like every black person is a welfare queen, look up the numbers, mate. It's white women. The number one recipient of WIC, Women, Infant, and Children, and EBT, I forget what that stands for. But the food stamp money. That goes to white people more than black people. Poor whites make up the large majority of the entitlements that are used. They say, I'm just being smart. My wife and I are not, well, me and my girlfriend, we're not married, see? So she says she's got 3 kids, you see? And then she gets all the money, you see? And then I go to work full time, you see? And they double dip on the system all the fucking time. All the fucking time.
Of course.
But then you see like a black family that's like waiting for 15 minutes to get some formula out of the case. Like, see, goddamn welfare queens. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But now none of that's coming out. So the pretense is gone.
Yeah. I just can't see Trump's base turning against him. Lee says he has to do a truce and crash the economy. I think that even if he triggered a Great Depression, the second Great Depression, I don't think that he'll lose a single vote. And I know that's me being a little bit that's how low my opinion of the people who vote for Trump is. I've met a lot of people who voted for Trump who think Trump is absolutely wonderful, and there's no getting through to them. And they will happily die on a park bench in the rain just with the knowledge that they'd somehow owned the libs. And when you mention Liz Truss,
but that's the thing. I think they like
personality
to fake that.
cult. In fact, she's got no personality. She is an intensely unlikable person. But these people don't just like Trump; they love him. They love him as if he was their own grandpappy. You know, they want him to come and tuck them in at night.
They love him because they're just as transactional as he is. Right. So when he said, I'm going to lower your gas prices, your grocery prices, I'm going to get rid of all these people, I'm going to make us rich, all this stuff, that's a big ask.
Mm.
It's almost like it's almost like there's no possible way you could even accomplish any of that. That's the problem. So I'm looking here from Newsweek, which is far, far from a left-wing rag. The U.S. imported around $38.5 billion in agricultural goods from the country in 2023. That's Mexico. $38 billion with a 25% tariff on it. Where does that money go? No one knows because it's all concepts of a plan. So when the food gets more expensive and you get nothing to show for it, when the gas is more expensive and you got nothing to show for it, when like I shout out to Canada, like they are literally pulling all the Tennessee whiskey off the shelf, putting up signs that say buy Canadian instead.
Yes.
And then you just see the blended Canadian whiskeys all over. And it's going to be the same thing with tequila. So, I mean, like, what he's doing is he's going after their favorite things.
Yes.
They don't know that yet because they still think he's there to save their favorite things. Because again, you have to put it into context. They think tariffs mean that they pay less and then the other country pays more. You know what I mean? So you can't use regular logic. You have to go with what they think Trump is telling them.
Yes. But that,
hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I got to be right back.
Okay. While Mikey hops off, I kind of wanted Mikey to hear what I had to say here. In 2002, George W. Bush put tariffs on the EU, and the EU responded by putting tariffs. I talked about this in the morning show this morning. The EU responded by putting tariffs on. Hi, Mikey. Hi, Mikey's back.
Hello.
I was just telling the audience that in 2002, George W. Bush put tariffs on the EU, and the EU responded with targeted tariffs on things like Harley Davidson motorbikes, on Kentucky bourbon, on imports coming in from the states, particularly from red states. They picked on the things that came from red states and the things that came from swing states. So one of the things was like Florida oranges, because at the time Florida was seen as a big swing state. George W. Bush lost it by 500 votes, but obviously they weren't counted because his brother was the governor, and the Supreme Court told him to stop counting the votes because that wouldn't be democratic if they counted all the votes in the 2000 election. So he brought these in, and then in 2003 he dropped these tariffs against the EU because these measures clearly worked. But then a year later he was still re-elected. So this is the thing,
because he had new lies.
Yeah, but like it doesn't do any lasting damage, even though he specifically went after red states, and they must have been feeling it for him to decide to drop these tariffs against the EU at that point. It didn't do him any electoral harm. And this is where I think we disagree, is that you see these people who vote for Trump as being transactional. The ones that I've met are not transactional. And I know that the plural of anecdote isn't data, but they are all in, Mikey. It's like talking to someone who's a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness or something. Like, they've got that zeal, they've got that fervor. They think that Trump is God. And whatever Trump does, they think is wonderful. And it's like something from like a cartoon or something. It's like, what happened this week? Well, I invested £1,000 of my dollars. I've $1,000 of my dollars in the latest Trump coin. Oh, how did that go? Oh, I lost $1,000. Isn't that great? Everything is awesome under Trump. And it's like, but you just lost $1,000. Yeah, but it was worth it. It was worth it for that moment, when I felt like I was doing what Trump wanted me to do.
I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Mikey's had enough. He's like, fuck this. I'm going to read some of your comments while we're here. Trump had 1.6 billion gallons of water to be wasted to spite California. That doesn't seem to be any surprise there. Scott says, it's good to see Mikey and Graham give each other space tonight. Far better. Kudos, you guys. Yeah, well, I mean, it's difficult because if you've got ADHD, which me and Mikey both have, the issue is that if you don't jump in while someone's talking, you literally forget the point that you were going to try and make. It's like closing a document down in Word without saving it. It's just gone. Whatever was there. And you're sort of sitting there thinking, okay, I've got to respond to this. I've got to respond to this. And the way I see it is like, it's like being on a car journey and seeing something out the window that you need to make a comment about. Because if you make that comment about it in 5 minutes time, once the other person stops talking about what they're talking about, you've gone past the thing and it is completely irrelevant. And then you've got to kind of explain what the thing was. And it's useless, You can't just point at something and go, haha, and make a funny joke about it. The joke won't work 5 minutes later. So it's something that we got into trouble with when we did the Three Blokes in the Pub series. People were like, why are you always talking over each other? And in hindsight, I think, same thing. It was like, if we didn't say what we needed to say, it wouldn't get out. And also, there's the fact that these shows can't go on all night as well. So I feel like if I'm getting impatient or if someone else is getting impatient with me, generally speaking, I think then the audience might be getting impatient as well. So there you go. I blame video games. Loved how Trudeau literally said red states were the target of the reprisal tariffs. Lol, says Blue Badger 88. Yeah, I love that as well. Mikey's gone to throw up. Frank F, the one bloke that Luke Beasley lost $1 million on Trump coin. I bet he still believes in him. Yeah, Frank, that's exactly my point, mate. That is exactly my point. I honestly believe that these people are so far gone. There's just nothing. There's no way of communicating with them. But it is a source of endless frustration for me so far. In the first 2 weeks, he's only been in power for 2 weeks. It's the longest 2 weeks of my life. That the Democrats are not just attacking him on all fronts, on every channel, and going on the late night shows, going on the news shows, just being everywhere all at once, saying, look what Trump's done. Look at the fact that Trump has let some fucking ketamine addict, some coked up ketamine addict who's from another country come and have a look at this sensitive financial information. $7 trillion worth of financial information for some of the people who have fought for this country, the people who have gone through all this. I think they should be out there. I think they should be screaming it from the rooftops. And Mikey's right. Like, why don't each of them have a fucking YouTube channel? Then again, I mean, you could say, well, but no one would watch it, Mikey. But so what? Some people would. And if the people who watch it are the people in there. I mean, I think like if you had a room of people, if you had 100 people come to hear you talk, you'd go, wouldn't you? I'd go to that. That's if you were doing stand up, that's a pretty good turnout. 100 people. I mean, it's not that many in terms of like Mr. Beast people watching Mr. Beast videos, but it'll do me. And so I don't see this platform as any different from that. We've got 200 people watching right now. 200 people. If I had 200 people come to if you had 200 people come and watch you do stand up in Chicago, you'd be like, fucking hell, man, I've sold out the venue.
That's a fun little group. But and even if they had like a town hall or I mean, not like with super chats and shit like that, but where you were able to like register and like ask questions or get on the panel and like have a conversation with them. How hard is it for them to get into a room, a Zoom call from DC and talk to their constituents once a week?
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Yeah. And we still do the same here as well in the UK. I've been going on at Labour to do this, but they're not interested.
And that completely inoculates your district from Trump lies.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because I got Beyonce on stage, even though she didn't sing.
Didn't get Taylor Swift though. Can I just ask what the fuck happened at the Grammys last night with Kanye West? Am I right in thinking he turned up with his wife who was naked? They took a picture of him and his wife who was naked on the red carpet, and then they got in a car and fucked off and didn't stay for the ceremony. Is that what happened? Or was that a fever dream I had?
I slept for an hour and a half yesterday, so you think I spent that time awake watching the goddamn Grammys? Literal Hitler coming down the pike, and it's like, gotta see if Beyonce won
with a naked woman. It was just,
and if that's not a direct expression of what the fuck is wrong with this place, there you go. People are about to starve to death.
Yes.
But I'm supposed to care about Kanye's naked girlfriend. Kiss my black ass. I don't care. Fuck him. Fuck her naked dress wearing. Like, fuck all of them. As much money is in that room, if they're not setting up a thing to protect trans people in the South, then they can shove all their money and their jet up their ass.
Yeah.
No one fucking cares, because none of that shit's gonna matter if all this shit falls apart. No one cares.
Before we go, we got a comment from one Angry Pagan saying, "My first book was The Hobbit, not Spot the Dog." All right, mate, if you say so. I think I did do Spot the Dog, but I have a distinct memory of reading The Hobbit when I was about 8 years old, and I got the book out from the library in Old Swan in Liverpool, up the road from where I grew up, and I didn't know when I got the book out that you could extend, like, keeping it out. I thought that you had to read it by, like, it was like
2 weeks.
Yeah, literally, I had to read it in those 2 weeks, or I couldn't finish it. So the night before I was supposed to take it back to the library, which was a school night, I stayed up all night reading The Hobbit, reading like the last few chapters, because I had to get it finished. And it wasn't until the next morning when I wake up and, like, you know, my eyes are like this, and my mum's like, "Oh no, you can just renew it. We just call up and renew it." And I'm like, but yeah.
What did you say? Renew?
Renew a book?
What is renew, precious? What is renew? You were just like you had to slog through that extra 100 pages of Frodo walking back from the mountain, which is
it was Bilbo.
And
Bilbo.
Oh, what did I say, Frodo? Yeah. You have to go back and recount the tale, because he didn't just and then they all live. No. Now Bilbo is going to take the same path backwards, except it's going to be slightly different this time. He's going to take a left at Lothlorien instead of taking a right at good old Tolkien.
Sarah Davis is saying she wasn't naked, it was a see-through dress. Well, it's the same thing. Isn't that the Emperor's new clothes? She literally went in the Emperor's new clothes. But there you go. Absolutely.
Oh, maybe that was the point, right? It was so meta. And we all just got to see the Emperor has no clothes. Trump has no. See, you don't even understand. That's how. That's why these people need to be worth millions and millions of dollars. Oh. Is because they do smart shit like this.
Make the bad people go away.
And that's why we're supposed to respect them. I'm honestly, at this point, I'm ready for the Tai Nye 2028.
The what?
Tai Nye, baby.
What's Tai Nye?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye. That's my ticket. That's my dream ticket.
Oh, you mean to stand for president?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Bill, dude, think of it. Just think of it. Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist, and Bill Nye, the fucking science guy, who does a great interview. If you can find him on YouTube doing an interview anywhere, he is hilarious. He used to do some what they call it, improv up in Canada.
In Canada.
Back in the 90s.
All right then. Well, we're gonna have to leave it at that, because we are way over time. But thanks very much for giving us your time, Mikey, and also thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks for the super chats. Give us a like on the way out. I'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for Morning Brew, a 1 hour long episode of Morning Brew, a little bit earlier than it used to be. It's now at 9 o'clock. We've moved the time after a suggestion to move the time, which I took on board and went, yeah, we can do that. So until next time, again, thank you very much, Mikey, and I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Subscribe to the BIM Podcast Network.